Hello and welcome to today's video. I haven't done one of these videos in a very long time and I'm excited to do it today. I feel like in February, March, I definitely enjoyed what I read, but I feel like I wasn't reading as much as I usually like to. In the past, what has helped me is kind of having some sort of TBR to motivate myself to finish those books by the end of the month. So that's what I'm doing today. I wanted to curate a list of some books. I forget the exact number. I actually don't know the exact number, but I wanted to curate a list of a couple books that I want to finish by the end of April, and we'll check back at the end of the month and see how many of these I completed. And this is gonna be a mix of books that I have on my physical TBR, books that I have just been interested in reading, and also there's a couple new releases that I want to read in April, so those definitely made it on the list as well. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, first I'm gonna start off with the books on my physical TBR that I want to read next month, and I have 4 to share with you. The first book I'm just going to explain really fast because everyone I feel like knows for the most part what this book is about and what this series is about. It's just the last book in this series that I need to complete, and I know it's crazy that I haven't finished it, but that is Mockingjay, which is the 3rd book in the original Hunger Games trilogy. I just finished Sunrise on the Reaping last night and it actually destroyed me. I can't even think about it without getting emotional. So this is the final book that I need to complete to say that I have read every book in the Hunger Games series. So I definitely want to finish this book in April. I want to compare it to the movies because I think that would be interesting. The Mockingjay movies aren't necessarily my favorite, but who knows, maybe I just need to read the book to enjoy them more. We will see on that. The next book on my physical TBR is a newer release. I think this came out in February or January. I kind of forget, but that is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. And I'm not really sure what this book is about. As I'll mention for pretty much every book on this list, I don't really know a lot about what these books are about. But for the most part, I like to go into most books kind of blind. I like knowing a little bit about what's going on with them. But also that is just me being a little lazy too. And I'm horrible at summaries. So I'm kind of giving myself the excuse. But anyways, so with this book, I believe it's like 2 brothers or cousins. Yeah, they're brothers. And obviously they're in Ireland because all of her books, I believe, take place in Ireland. I've only read Normal People and Conversations with Friends. Oh wait, no, I also read Beautiful World, Where Are You? Forgot. Have I read all of her books? I guess I forget. Honestly, the only one of her books that I've actually really liked was Normal People. The other 2 I didn't really enjoy. So we will see on this one. Yeah, it says, aside from the fact they're brothers, Peter and Ivan seem to have little in common. Peter is a lawyer in his 30s, successful and competent, but in the wake of their father's death, he's medicating himself to sleep and struggling to manage his relationships with 2 very different women. Ivan is a 22-year-old competitive chess player. He has always seen himself as socially awkward, a loner, the antithesis of his elder brother. For 2 grieving brothers and the people they love, this is a new interlude, a period of desire, despair, and possibility, a chance to find out how much one life might hold inside itself without breaking. Okay, so I think this is like all of her books. It's gonna be kind of complex and emotional. So I feel like I have been, for the most part, in the mood for these types of books recently. I do want to get to this at some point so I can have at least an opinion about it. And this cover, I love this cover so much. So even if I don't like the book, I'm like, it'd look really pretty on my shelf, which I know is not the reason to purchase a book, but hopefully I like it and then I'm able to display it because I like it too. So we'll see on that. Okay, this next book, I purchased it the day it released, I believe October 2023, and I was so excited to read it because it's like a continuation of a series that I love so much. I'll just say what it is, and that is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. This is the continuation of the series A Darker Shade of Magic. In this book, we follow a lot of the same characters that we do in A Darker Shade of Magic. I don't want to say which ones because I don't want to give any spoilers. I've tried to read this book 2 times now, I believe. Once was when I first got it. I tried to read it physically and I maybe got like 100 pages in, and then I don't know, I just wasn't connecting with it. Then I tried via audio like a year later pretty much, and like this past summer, and that didn't work. I think I made it like 50% and I could not tell you really what happens in this book. I remember some details, but I just feel like for this book I need to read it on my Kindle or my iPad. I don't know what it is. This is like the European edition of the book, and maybe I just need to go ahead and break the spine or something, but this is so stiff. It's like the original Hunger Games books, how they're so stiff. I bought this when I wasn't a spine breaker, and so maybe that's why I hate reading it physically. Look at this. It's crazy when you're trying to read it. So I definitely want to give it another shot because I have heard good things about it and I love these characters so much and I need to know what happens with them. I am not sure. I kind of forget if there's going to be multiple in this series. I don't even know what this new series is called, but I need to find out what happens to them. Okay, this next book, I was so excited to read it when I purchased it and I just never really got around to reading it because I feel like I got out of my fantasy mood like right after the time I purchased it. This is a newer release as well. It might have come out late last year. I kind of forget. I have heard very good things about this book and I believe it has a magical school element. A magical school trope is like one of my favorite tropes of all time. And I believe this one, it takes place in a magical school. I'm pretty sure. Oh, let me tell you what the book is. It is Immortal Dark by Tigis Gurma. And this is like the normal, I think it's the independent bookstore edition that came out, which is super fun. I believe it's like vampires in a magical school. Am I getting that right? So the main character, she believes a vampire stole her sister. So she has to infiltrate this magical school and obviously problems happen when she comes to the school. Oh yeah, she finds out there's a lot of secrets going on and there's a threat. I don't know a lot about it, but it sounds really interesting and I feel like I want to read it before I totally forget about it and it takes me years to read it. I think this could be really fun. I love reading books around the time they come out because it makes it so fun to like anticipate the next book with other people. Yes, and that leads me into my next book that I am very excited to read, and that is Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. This is the third book in the Legendborn Cycle, I think it's called. I believe there's gonna be 4, I'm pretty sure. And so this is the third one. I don't own a copy of it right now. I was debating, do I want to read this? I wasn't sure. And I've decided I do want to read it. I do want to try to get a copy from my library. I forget the name of the person that narrates these books, but I love her voice. I believe that's how I read Bloodmarked, I'm pretty sure. And I reread Legendborn last summer and I actually listened to the audiobook. I feel like I definitely need to read a summary of what happened in Bloodmarked because I feel like I read that so long ago and I cannot remember anything that happened in that book. Like, I'm serious. On the daily, I can't remember what I read in the books that I read for the most part. I have a horrible memory, but for that book especially, like, I could not tell you one thing. Like, one thing about that book. So I think before I read the third book, I should probably read a synopsis. But I believe that came out, I'm filming this right now in March. I believe it came out at the beginning of this month. I think eventually, if I do enjoy it, I will purchase the hardcover because those covers are so stunning. They do such a great job. I don't know who the artist is that creates those covers, but they're literally so beautiful. Okay, I need to place another hold for this book actually because my hold date just expired for this book. Another book that I want to read next month, if I can get another hold for it at my library, I might just go ahead and purchase it. It's such a chunky book that I don't know how I'm going to finish it in time, but we will see. One book that I want to read, sorry, I'm looking at my iPad because I keep messing up the name of this book, and it is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. This is, I believe, the first series that James Islington came out with. He's the author of The Will of the Many, which, if you don't know, was my #1 book of 2024. And so in anticipation for the new book coming out, The Strength of a Few, which I believe comes out in May, I wanted to read some of his backlog because I wanted to compare it and see if I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed The Will of the Many. And so I started what is it called? The Shadow of What Was Lost. I don't know why I can't remember that name. It's so long. I started it this month and I am really enjoying it. I got maybe like 15% of the way through. I believe it's like 700 pages, I'm pretty sure, but I do want to continue it. If I'm able to get the hold for it, I would love to be able to finish it this month. I've just been in the mood to like start a new fantasy series that has like multiple books and is like, I don't know. I need to stop saying chunky. I hate that word. Thick. Okay, I don't know. Fantasy series that is like a long fantasy series. Oh my gosh, why wasn't I thinking that? Why was I using every gross word other than just like okay. Anyways, I want to read that. And so what happens in this book is, I guess I can give a little bit of synopsis since I have read a little bit of it. So this book takes place in a semi-magical school, which I love. A magical school, obviously. And we follow our main character, Davian, and he actually has a secret, and that's that he possesses a forbidden magic. And obviously, since he has this forbidden magic, if people find out that he has it, he is going to die and become what they call like a shadow, which is, I don't know what other word to say other than like procedure, but it's not a procedure. I'm watching Severance right now, and it kind of reminds me of that. So if you've seen Severance, you know what I mean, where it's like, you just become like, is this helping? This is why I don't do summaries, like, because I don't even know what I'm saying. And one day at the school that they live at, I don't want to spoil anything, but something really bad happens. And Davian and his friend, before the event happens, they have this like feeling that they need to escape the school that they're at. They end up escaping the bad thing that happens at the school, and they're on a journey to figure out like what is going on. I don't want to give away too much because a lot has happened so far, and I'm only 15% of the way through the book, so it's like I know that so much more is going to happen. Probably my most anticipated read for this month is the new Emily Henry book, Great Big Beautiful Life. I've read every single one of Emily Henry's more recent romance novels. I know she wrote some like sci-fi back in the day, I'm pretty sure. I haven't read those, but I would be interested actually. But out of her romance books, I've loved every single one that I've read, and so I'm very excited to read this book. I think it's gonna be a little bit different than her other ones based off the synopsis, but I have the synopsis right here if you want to hear a little bit of the blurb. Two writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple plot twists up her sleeve in this dazzling and sweeping new novel from Emily Henry. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist, still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize-winning human thundercloud. And they're both on the balmy Little Crescent Island for the same reason, to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years. Or at least to meet with the octogenarian, I don't know what that means, who claims to be Margaret Ives, tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and the daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who'll tell her story, there are 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1. Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has a whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2. She's ready for this job and the chance to impress her perennial, unimpressed family with a serious publication. 3. Hayden Anderson, who should have no reason to be concerned about losing this book, is glowering at her in a shaken to the core way that suggests he sees her as competition. Okay. Getting enemies to lovers. This is sounding quite a bit like Book Lovers. I'm sure that something else is going to happen that differentiates it from that book, but overall it's definitely reminding me of that book, so we will see on that. I'm very excited though. And those are kind of the main books that I want to focus on reading for this upcoming month. It would obviously be great to finish all those books, but realistically we'll see on that. I'm definitely a mood reader. I've been loving the series that I've been doing, like the Read It or Unhaul It, that like sort of TBR format has been really helping me to finish the books that are on my TBR. So I know some of these are on my physical TBR and some are just books that I want to purchase and to read. So we'll see how it all goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video, and at the end of the month we'll see how I did. But that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!